They wasn't being monogamous. They was piping down other people. That's what I think.
Yeah. Was Armand there when this piping was happening?
He wasn't. No,
he was not. But he knew about it.
I feel like this. Hold on. Ooh, somebody else was saying,
Onyx money.
Diary of a Mad Vampire. I love it. Onyx Crown, yeah.
And I would have been on the same shit.
So let's go into episode 5. So Armand rarely eats. So when he does, he prefers to hunt for it. When Daniel presses him on it, Louis says Armand chooses someone who is half in love with an easeful death. All right. So this is the question: is Daniel future prey for Armand?
I don't think so, because one of the things that he also mentions is that he chooses people who do harmful things to others. And well, never mind. Forget what I just said, because Daniel has done some harmful things to people, and we learn about those things that he did throughout this episode. Okay, never mind. He might be.
Brittany?
I'm thinking like Daniel can't run. He old and decrepit. How he gonna run? Like it wouldn't be much sport.
At this point, I don't think with Daniel it wouldn't be about sport, because we know what the extent of what happens later is really just about you know what? It's time. I'm tired of playing this game with y'all. You know,
it's time to go.
It's time.
So I'm gonna say this. I've been saying it. There is backstory between Armand and Daniel.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say. All right. So next question. Armand preserves. So this is something that Louis says after a question that Daniel had. Armand preserves my happiness even when I don't or can't. He had I can't see y'all. He had a punch. You might. He had a guess. I guess you might prove fruitful.
A hunch.
So that was the first time that was said in this episode. All right. So I just want y'all to remember. So that was at 7:15. We're gonna come back to that a little bit later. Up until this point, I was happy thinking that at the most, Daniel Malloy might have had 1 or 2 sexual experiences with men, but this entire episode now has me believing Daniel was running around in gay prides. Who is Daniel Malloy, Corey?
So I think that Daniel in his youth was more sexually ambivalent. I think he kind of went with the flow. He did a little bit of everything. He liked it all. He liked his pie. He liked his sausage. He liked a little bit of it all, right? And it was the 70s, and it was a different time. And it was early enough in the 70s that there was still a little bit of free love going on, right? So I think that's who Daniel is, right? He's a little bit of a hippie, kind of. He experimented with drugs, and whatever happened. He was down to do whatever in order for him to get his story or for him to get his experience or whatever, so that he can write about it, right? Because he was trying to become an artist, a writer, right? So he was down for the experience. So, but at this point, we're starting to kind of get the question, potentially, did he and Louis have a thing going on? And he does ask that question. And I expected the answer to be yes, but
Me too.
I really expected the answer to be yes. I really did. But I guess, that's just not where it was meant to go.
Did you like we was like, well, did you want it to be?
No, he said really? We want to now.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah, come on.
That was him being a hunter. But listen, in the beginning of the episode, when he was talking to his use of the word boy, to when he was referring to Daniel, when he was first meeting him. So, boy,
and country is I don't know what boy.
But y'all, your Valentine, and I would love for Elia to respond to your Valentine. Your Valentine says Armand doesn't leave situations without a bit of cushion to land on. So Daniel might be that cushion as Lestat was, and Louis is. What are your thoughts about that? We've got questions, and we know you have answers. So make love to our senses in the comments. Drop them down below.
I don't disagree with you, your Valentine. Armand has proven to be extremely 10 steps ahead. Even when we think he's this passive person, he knows more than everybody around, especially since he can control minds. So that cushion, I don't disagree with you there. You said so Daniel might be that cushion Lestat was able, and Louis is. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Well, so let me ask this, y'all. Do you think that that's the reason for the tension then? The tension between Daniel and Armand? Or is it just that Daniel sees through Armand's bullshit?
I think you are on point. It's just something, and maybe like even with the mind control, it's just something happened to you and then you can't quite remember, but you kind of had an uneasy
something feeling. Ain't right.
Yeah, so I think he just kind of has this sixth sense like, I ain't fooling with you. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. But I don't trust you.
I don't trust you, and Louis shouldn't trust you. And,
Right.
I'm
Which
in
is
danger.
why whenever Armand left to go on this hunt, Daniel was like, "How much time we got? All right, I got some other questions for you."
Look, it's like it gives me. I got tea, bitch. You know,
Right.
it gives me.
Think if you before master or matron come back. Let's go ahead and get this going.
Well, then.
All this.
But wait, y'all. I just want to say this. I think Armand wants his story told too.
I like it.
I think that it's not even about sex. It's like you got to sit here for hours, telling your little funky side of the story.
What about what I need?
What about what I do? What about?
But see, here's the
What
thing. He doesn't get that because he has been poo-pooing this idea from the beginning. So he can't come in at the end and be like, I want to be a part of it and I want my story to be told, because he never wanted Louis to be a part of this from the beginning.
No, he allowed Louis' crazy ass to be a part of this because he's wrapping this shit up quickly. Wrap it up or alone. He's been a part of it the whole time, watching and listening to see how far it goes. I think
hate
he
Louis
wants to
so
tell his part.
The evidence is right in front of you. You hate Louis.
I don't hate Louis. He's fine.
Okay, you don't hate Louis, but you don't like him.
I think he's weak as fuck.
And because he's weak, you're not looking at the facts. But anyway.
No, the facts are you've been spewing. You had 10, 14, 12, however many hours you stayed up with Daniel, not molesting him as you probably should have, which is what my mom thought you were supposed to be doing, getting your little rocks off and getting high and then coming home. He ain't had it. So all this time you've been talking this yang, but whoever gets Armand's long-lasting story? I think that Armand, although he knows the laws and he's hearing this violin soliloquy from Louis for years and get it out again, I think that Armand is like every once in a while, what about me?
He had that chance when he was in Paris and he didn't want it. It was about him.
He had that chance to record it. He had that chance to record it. If we standing on record when we standing on business, record my part.
Hey, Sean Fifi, I think
you can't trust his part because he's lying and he's scheming.
He's just powerful. Y'all hate it. Y'all scared of strength. That's what it is.
Hey, Sean Fifi, you do you remember what you had to say?
What I had to say about what?
Okay, let's move. All right. So when Louis showed Daniel the coffin, he said, "Does that scare you, boy?" I'm focusing in on the use of the word boy. He uses it quite a lot when talking to Daniel in the 70s. Why did Louis use that language? I really want to hear from Barra, man, but it looked like she's on the phone. So let's go to Corey.
I think it's twofold. One, I think it was kind of a sexual innuendo kind of thing, right? He's trying to assert dominance because at that particular point in time, I think he sees Daniel as a submissive kind of, and so I think that's kind of what that first part of that. I also think that this is right after the 60s, and there's that whole race play, thing coming into it. I think that was also a way too for him to say, I'm the dominant one in this situation.
That's what I was getting for
sure. For me, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's a couple things, but I can't deny that the younger Daniel and Louis had some sort of tension, some sexual tension, and some sort of chemistry. I mean, Daniel basically was offering it up.
Right. Took his shirt off everything.
Are we gonna do it in a coffin or
Right.
I can't see you waiting.
Right. When he first got in, he was like, "Oh, you want me to just pull down?" He just pulled down his pants. He's like, "What
So
you
that's your
want?"
kink? Okay.
Right. What you want? Basically, is what he was saying. What you
I
want?
don't know how turned on we gonna be, but I'm trying to find out. High as fuck.
All right. So a little bit later, Louis says Daniel offered something off the menu. If it wasn't sex or blood at that time, why did he appeal to Louis? Like, what was it about him that appealed to Louis? Let's go with Brittany.
I think that what appealed to him was that he was young, fresh, and eager to learn and open. I think that he could sense something about him was open and yearning and wanting. And he wanted to pinpoint in on that and get his story told. I think he knew that he would be open to hearing his story.
I agree. That's 100%. That was on my mind. So like he gave him an opportunity to share and to tell his story, which is something he'd been clearly wanting to do for a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So your Valentine, as a black man from the South, to use boy so flippant in the same way it would have been used at him, it made my skin crawl. He doesn't have real power over a lot of people in his life. Corey, what are your thoughts about that?
I kind of agree with that, and that's kind of why I was saying it was a little bit of him asserting dominance, right? It's an opportunity for him at this particular point in time to be the aggressor, to be the dominant one, to be the one that is doing the pursuing, so to speak, right? Because there's a few things that are in the play in the situation. Is A, he wants his story to be told, right? But B, he also wants to be the hunter a bit, right? I think there's a little bit of that in it as well. And if we're to be honest, I think he does like Daniel. He does at that particular point in time, he desired Daniel, whether it was just because he thought he was interesting, but he wanted something from Daniel. And I think that in another situation, they probably would have, been doing some other things, right? But the story turns.
I think Daniel has that kind of zeal about him, especially young Daniel at the time, just unapologetic, really crass. I'm diving headfirst into the concrete. Come wait, what may, what might. I'm gonna make art with my blood on the concrete. At the very least, if I just do it my way, you're gonna remember it. So I think he had this type of zeal about him that was just attractive, to Louis, and not necessarily just in a sexual way, but like when he almost gets himself killed by Armand, saying, "Hey, I got more from this boy than I did from you, in years. You bore me." So he needed that excitement that Daniel could offer.
All right. So Brittany, next. I'm sorry.
I was going to say one more thing too, and as a gay man in general, I think how often, many times of us in our youth, have we been excited by the one that's a little bit crazy, that's a little bit dangerous, that's a little bit this, a little bit that, right? Just a little touch of that, and it makes it appealing, right?
Right, because even when Louis told Daniel, "Oh yeah, I'm a vampire," Daniel said, "I'd like to know why you think that you're a vampire." And so when he ran up on him and showed him his fangs, and that scared the life out of Daniel, but he still didn't leave. He was scared as hell, but he was still wanting to learn more.
He hit that coke real fast. He was like, "All right, let me do the tape real quick. Okay, hold on.
Let's go."
All right, next question. This is going to Bear of Men. After Daniel asked to be Louis, Lestat, and Claudia, but with a few extra parts they don't have, why did Louis decide to attack Daniel anyway?
Rage. I think it was misdirected rage. He just couldn't believe that after he told his story, he just didn't get it. He's telling himself and his story and his torture and his sadness, and nobody can hear it because it isn't there. And to have a human be like, "Man, you got this power.
I want that gift.
I want it. You don't know what to do with it. Like, get hip. Get hip." He was like, "I'll kill you." I think he showed him his own weakness, his own suffering. Like, he's such a sufferer, but he doesn't realize you want to suffer. You're willfully sad. You're blissfully unaware. And it's something to be said about people who can't recognize their own despair that's on repeat. Like, you're on total recall. Like, you want to be hurt. You enjoy sinking into sadness, and he does. And like, I think Daniel put that in his face, and it hurt him. And he was like, "Fuck it, I'll kill you."
He's a masochist.
He is.
So let's go with that. All right. So Armand is hearing all of this. Like, he's hearing Louis talk about Lestat. All right. So why then did Armand save Daniel when he first arrived at the apartment? Why did he say
what? Say it again.
Why did Armand save Daniel when Armand first arrived at the apartment?
I think it's because he knows Louis' heart and his brokenness and how he feels towards the human race. Like, he doesn't really want to kill them all. He wants to have purpose and methods too. And I think that's where they relate. I think that, Armand's choicey and his delectables and his delectable delights. No. He wants to rid the earth of people who just really shouldn't be here anyway. And like, that's where they can find like solace together. He, like Lestat, used to drive Louis crazy because he didn't care. If you were delicious looking, you were a delicious snack. And that pissed Louis off because he was like, shouldn't there be more purpose to our killing? What he really longed for in Lestat, he literally found in Armand. But he couldn't love it because he's broken. And in being broken, he breaking people all along the way.
Brittany?
I totally agree with Bear of Men. I don't think that Daniel was in a safe spot. And I think that Armand came in and saved Daniel because he knew that deep down inside, Louis did not want to kill Daniel. He just wanted to, I guess, shock him or scare him or get him to understand that this is not what you want. You want to be a human. You need to love your humanity, because I wish I could go back and be a human again.
I don't think Armand is wasteful. No. I don't think
What do you mean?
he's not wasteful. Well, okay. He's ancient. He's an ancient apex predator. I'm thinking 15 steps ahead. Okay. I'm gonna need this for something later. We're gonna hold on to it.
That's exactly what it is.
Does Armand, okay, he has all these powers. Can he tell the future? Is that a power that he has, potentially?
I don't think that's a power that any of the vampires have. I think that Armand, however, is old enough to be able to know human behavior and to know certain things.
I think he has insight, not foresight. So,
Right.
So H-Town Fifi, your Valentine says, when you get out of a toxic relationship after sometimes you miss the person because of human conditions, you forget how bad it actually was, and you miss the toxic nature because it was quote unquote fun. What are your thoughts on that?
I have a lot of thoughts on that. So that kind of sums up what I was thinking about with Louis in the first place. I said, boy, Louis like a crazy motherfucker, right? Because Lestat was crazy as hell. But then over time, we're starting to see how Armand, even though he didn't show it at first, that motherfucker is probably even crazier than Lestat. And so it's almost like he's drawn to these toxic motherfuckers where he's just like, oh, that's what I love. That's what I like. And it does make him feel like that's what was love to him. However, in this episode, when he goes completely off on Armand, and Armand says, like, you've never said this type of hurtful stuff to me. He says, you are so boring. You are so boring. And then once we really see who Armand is, that he's really crazy, I think that kind of is going to draw Lestat back in, because he's drawn into that toxic stuff.
Lestat or Louis?
Louis. Because we learned that in this episode, Armand is just as crazy as Lestat. Louis may not have known that, but he knows it now. And as we dive into like the more towards the end of the episode, where kind of Daniel and Louis kind of approach Armand, we learn like, oh, you really are crazy. That he had been planning all these things, which is why when Elia says he's strategic, like he's planning this 15 steps ahead. He is.
You crazy? So, I don't like that. So stay with me for a second. After Daniel walked through Louis' forgotten memories of him ultimately running outside into the sunlight, it is clear to viewers that Louis had no memory of this. This is my question. Why did Louis run into the sunlight? Why did he want to kill himself? Let's go to Brittany. Why did he run into the sunlight? Why did he want to kill himself?
He was high as Scooter Brown. He did not know what the hell was going on. He was just like, woo, son. He was high. He was doped up, cracked out on all the drugs that Daniel was on, high as fuck. Didn't know what was going on, but at the same time, still depressed.
They gave him the confidence to do it.
Right.
Right. He was like, you know what? You're mad at me. I almost killed somebody. I'm going with the sun.
Okay. Exactly. All of that.
Look, Valentine, your Valentine, you're always like several questions ahead.
I like this point. I
love you, Valentine. You can't your skills because you see it. You see it. Because let me tell you. He don't love Armand until Armand show him he will fucking kill him.
Mm-hmm. He's not
everybody he's fucking with. Everybody. He's like, oh, I will end us all tonight. Now start from fresh. Louis, I love you.
This is Louis. Louis is toxic, like we've been saying.
Yes,
he is not in love with Armand. He's in love with the idea of Armand.
Not the real Armand that he sees. He's in love with the image of Armand that he got in Paris.
You need somebody to levitate you and then drop you out the sky. That's what you like. That's your speech.
It is not healthy.
Multiple times.
But it feels good.
I actually feel sorry for Armand.
Okay, speaking of, let me ask this question. Did the drugs make Louis say all those things about Armand, or were those his real and actual thoughts? Hell yeah.
He said exactly what he'd been holding on to for decades. And so when he was going off the peyote, he just went ahead and put it out there for him. You boring.
Peyote don't make you do that, baby.
No, you lowered your inhibitions by being souped up on all them drugs. So you said what you really wanted to say, and you said it with your chest before you ran out into the sun with your crazy ass.
I don't think he felt like that. I felt like he felt like hurting somebody today. He woke up on one after he tasted that good coconut blood.
Louis been going through the motions.
The
He been
coke
going
is
through the
different.
motions.
Have you ever talked to somebody on coke?
Think about it though. I don't disagree with you just saying all kind of stuff.
That
But
ain't liquor, baby. That ain't liquor. Have you ever talked to somebody on coke?
They not right in the head.
no, but with Louis in particular,
They're
Louis-
running through a moving vehicle talking about I'm stronger than the world, and then all of a sudden they crippled. Come on now. I don't think
It's true. It's true.
but remember, Louis
ain't being drunk.
drank blood from Daniel. He could have had coke, liquor, and everything in between. Probably even
More
fentanyl
to
is what was
my
saying.
Mark up that backgammon board and said, "What you want, chow mein or chicken?"
What's my point? I think he meant that he was born. That part is the only part I think he meant. I think that Louis was at that point still obsessed with lestat.
And still is.
And still is.
You know what it made me think about? Do y'all remember in season 1 where Louis went to Woods to get him some from his childhood friend, and then we see later on the boots on the side that lestat was sitting there watching it the whole time, right? It was like a thing that they did, right? And so with this one, we learned that Louis Daniel was not the only guy that he's done this with. Now Daniel was the only guy that has been spared, but he's done this to 500 guys. Which if you
Just five. Daniel was the fifth.
no, but then Armand comes back and says like you are. Like,
500.
he names 100.
128.
Okay, so 128 people. If you was really that much into Armand, why do you have to keep doing this here with different men? If you weren't bored, I think he really was. I think he meant that. I don't think it's because he was high. I think he really meant you boring as fuck.
Well,
I think he's boring. I think
is there such thing as a monogamous vampire though? I don't know. I don't
they
think
wasn't being monogamous. They was piping down other people. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I also
Oh,
don't.
was Armand there when this piping was happening?
He wasn't. No,
He
he
was
always
not,
knows.
but he knew about it.
I feel like this. Hold on. Ooh, somebody else was saying.
Oh,
Honey,
honey.
Diary of a Mad Vampire.
I love it. I love it. Onyx Crown, yeah.
And I would have been on the same shit. How many times we gonna talk about the sex? Huh? How many times? Huh? This your last time? No.
He's like, stop playing with me.
But wait though, y'all. I think there's a
You
piece
called
of it that
me
we forget
boring.
about, because right after this, he talks about where Armand actually talks to lestat. So he knows where he is. He knows he's let him know what the state that Louis is in and everything. And so he is deliberately,
He was, of
when
course,
I was saying, I'm talking to lestat, he's deliberately showing him, I'm talking to the man that you
You
protocol.
love.
So you over him, huh?
Right, you're over. I'm sitting
I got him on the phone right now.
What do we say? No.
You want to know what he said? I ain't telling you.
Don't talk
I
to
wonder, does he ever tell him that though? Does he ever tell him what Louis was saying in his head?
Hell no.
No.
That's my
No.
I ain't telling you
No.
that.
No. Hold on one second. Hold on. All right. So this is what's happening.
I
So-
think he was druggies too, Valentine.
So you're going to teach me how to be fascinating. So this is Armand talking to Daniel. You're going to teach me how to be fascinating. In the background, we hear sinister music to highlight the tone. Psychologically, what is happening to Armand, Brittany? What is happening in this moment when he's asking Daniel? You're going to teach me how to be fascinating.
It's kind of like a cynical moment where he's looking at him in his eyes, but he also has this desperation where he's like, look, bitch, my man just told me that I'm boring as shit and that you are exciting. So I need everything that you got in you to put into me so that I can be exciting too. But as I read your mind, you put a bag over a chick's head in middle school and said, the only way I'm gonna have sex with you is if you put a bag over your head. So while she's crying, you're sitting here having sex with her. So that makes you entertaining? You sold your dad's pornos in middle school too. Oh, in high school, you sold your dad's pornos. That makes you entertaining. So he's sitting here picking him apart, but at the same time realizing that you are not that interesting. I am Armand. I am the shit. And you gonna sit here and tell me that your lame ass is entertaining? Fuck that.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that he thought he was. I think it was sinister. I think it had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that he thought he was really sinister. Entertaining. I think that this just exposes how dark Armand can go. And I told y'all, I will rename my mad, upset, in love alter ego after Armand. Baby, he not shit. I think that was one of his moments where he was so far deep, he was so far gone with the comments that, because I do believe Louis was just high out of his mind. And I don't think every drug speaks a sober mind. I think some drugs give you Teflon skin. And you say wild shit like you don't know, you can get your head decapitated tomorrow. You and whoever you was with.
So
I think in that moment, it was him exposing being, like you said, being cynical. I think that he just wanted to expose Louis in that moment for his choices. And so while he was diving into Daniel's mind, he was exposing and belittling, because the whole time Louis listening.
Yep.
I think he was belittling Louis. It never had anything to do with Daniel. It had everything to do with with Louis. It was like, oh, you're gonna teach me how to be interesting. My man just told me I'm boring. So let's get into you.
That's right, Natasha.
I agree. I think it was more so the jealousy.
Oh yeah, I would have been jealous too. It would
I
have
think
been
the jealousy, the hurt.
in me. I haven't even showed you what I can do.
Okay,
have
there, man.
let's have a party in this mother. Then I'm gonna take this whole party out. I'm gonna expose my lunacy because everybody's playing with me in this moment. I'm gonna call him out. I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna call everything out because everybody got me effed up in this moment. Like, he's weak, you're weak, everybody's weak. I'm the bomb. You lucky to have me. Peasant.
And it's like he's trying to convince himself of that too, because remember in the last episode, Armand tells Lestat that he loves him, and Lestat's like, "Yeah, I love you too." Meanwhile, a whole week later, he gone. And then when Armand finds out, oh wait, Louis was the love of Lestat's life, and then even in this moment where Lestat is telling him, like, tell him I love him, tell him I love him, Armand is like, well, damn, like, what's wrong with me? Like, I think it really did hurt his ego, and he was like, what the fuck?
Like, so you still love this nigga too?
He got sold off by his family. You know, like, he got trust issues.
Hell yeah.
He got sold off by his family.
Hell yeah.
It's I'll kill all of you.
Your Valentine said, he said Daniel was nothing but a hole.
I tackled at that too, your Valentine. The way I was in here laughing and guffawing at the screen when he said that, because that's what Daniel was acting like.
What are your thoughts?
Daniel was acting like he was a hole in that.
Well, I mean, there's a double entendre there.
Yes.
You know, I love a good plot twist and a good double entendre. Nothing but a hole away. One, okay, you're supposed to come up here and just smash him, or we could look at it like, hey, he human, he's nothing. I can go ahead and toss him aside, bury him right now in that coffin you was trying to smash you in, and be done with it.
Listen, the kind of love Armand had been pouring into, he got rid of his whole, clearly, where is the coven? He got rid of his whole coven for Dan. I mean, for Louis. I did all this, and you still worried about this B-A-N word. After all this time, and then you gonna look me in my face with your vampire eyes that I could pluck out and call me boy? With this weak drug addict you done sucked up? Oh, I'm about to embarrass you, and I might kill everybody in this room, really. I'm unstable.
It was kind of mentioned earlier, but I want to ask you a different way. Despite Armand's anger, he still takes care of Louis. Why?
It's kind of like the mother who intentionally makes you sick so that they can take care of you, so that you think, oh, they just love me so much. You know, it's one of those type of syndromes, I think.
Munchausen?
Huh?
Munchausen?
Yeah,
I feel like that's what it is. Yeah, he's doing that to make Louis see, I'm still taking care of you, and you still think all of these horrible things about me. I don't trust Armand now. I love Armand because but no, I'm trying not to trust him.
I get it though. I get what she's saying, because it's almost like, because of the things and the calculating nature of Armand, you don't really trust anything that he does at this point, right? Because you think it is all just to get at his end game, right? Or whatever he thinks it is, right? So I get that, but at the same time too, I think he honestly does love Louis, right? And so he just wants to take care of him for an extent.
What they think, man?
What?
Sorry, I got these comments. Let's take them one at a time because I don't want to miss nobody. So this, your Valentine. Louis called me boring. Do you find me boring? All right, so that's one. The next one. Your Valentine also says, I don't think you could have verbalized that I love you. You can see Armand starting to say the words, but couldn't. I don't know if I agree with that, your Valentine. But anyway, Natasha says Armand and Louis should have just broke up, but again, Armand's ego. Anything to one up Lestat. This is the one that I like. This is the one that had me right here. Onyx Crown. 500-year developed Nightingale King. Love it.
Listen. How hard do you live if you're a 500-year-old vampire? And you already love him.
Armand is over 1,000.
He's over 1,000.
You got abandonment issues.
Yes, that's it. I wasn't gonna say it. I wanted y'all to understand it.
He got abandonment issues. Okay.
And this is just unlocking something. He's just like, he about to leave me, or I can't let him leave me, or I can't you know,
No, he was gonna he was gonna do something. He
it
didn't
was
even
gonna
help
be.
him.
He snapped.
He let him be Child Burrow. He could have helped him. I'm gonna say it in a good New Orleans accent. He let him be Child Burrow for a while.
Armand invented the game of chess. Y'all just learned how to play.
Right.
But you know what? It makes me also think about the fact that whenever Armand came back from his hunt and Daniel brought up the stuff that he asked Louis, Armand literally said exactly what Louis said. Like, I don't think Armand, I think Armand was listening to that whole conversation the whole time.
He probably was 5 blocks away and reading his mind.
Listen,
Intrusive.
maybe I'm
It
crazy.
shows us that we really can't trust Armand.
I don't think we were ever supposed to.
I
though.
think
I don't think
Armand
we were
might be the
ever
only one you can trust.
No.
First of all, you can't trust Louis. As much as I love his fine ass, you can't trust Louis.
Well, he got multiple personalities, so one of them you probably can, but we don't know which one.
We don't know which one we're talking to right now. We don't know which one is which. Both thing. We don't know.
I agree, Animal.
Y'all ain't gonna do my Louis like that. Y'all ain't gonna do my
Armand
Louis.
wants to make his point to Louis. You need me. And he let him suffer.
Y'all ain't gonna
He
do my
not
Louis.
put him in the
So-
path. He let him sit there, Char Burrow.
Here's the thing, though. I
Louis
mean,
was
we got a
sitting there
lot. We got a
begging.
lot of Louis hate, but here's the reason why. And this, everyone says the same thing about Louis. People, fans of the book, we all rehashing the same thing. Louis is just miserable, and that is his role in the vampire story. It's like everyone, Lestat constantly talks about how Louis is just constantly miserable, you know, being a vampire. And in this show, we can kind of see and unwrap why, right? Why?
Just walk into the sun already for real then. Bye. If you're so miserable.
I think he did it on purpose. I think he allowed him to do it. Kind of like Lestat in what was that, episode 1, episode 2, when Lestat let him walk outside in the sun. He let him do it. He knew where he was going. He could hear it.
So you
Yeah.
keep being the same person over and over again.
Sizzle,
Or
sizzle. Sizzle with your silly ass.
Grand Rising King.
Good morning. I want to be human so bad, but can't be. Listen, Linda.
Onyx Crown, I totally agree that I think he let him do it on purpose. He knew exactly where he was going.
He knew. Because let me tell you something. You're not going to call me born to my face. You're not going to sit up here and show your butt to me.
Okay, Sunshine.
I am. I'm the whole son in this situation. I'd have burned his ass up. Who you talking to?
And let him stay burnt.
Who you talking to? No, I'm going to play with you. I'm going to be just like a diary of Mad Black.
That's
That
right.
pirate. I'm going to keep you alive to teach you a lesson. Who you talking to?
I don't think that has the effect that he wants to do. So that's why he makes him forget and
Right.
forget the story, right?
How does he make him forget though? Because he doesn't have power over him, right?
I think Louis asked him to forget. I do.
I don't think.
And I think he's gonna play victim right after because he's such a damn victim. I don't think he even wanted to remember he talked to Armand stupid like that.
I don't think that.
I don't think that.
In terms of the drama, nah. For the drama, that can't happen. That can't happen because that would be like for those people old enough. You remember Dallas when 2 or 3 seasons it was just a dream. Oh no, we need the drama. But anyway, I got like 3 more questions left. All right, so when Armand describes the moment when Louis' book is revealed, so he's kind of like he's talking about the future, right? And Lestat reads it knowing that Louis is alive. It basically reveals that at least a part of Louis is interested, and the reason I said that is because Louis didn't respond. At least a part of Louis is interested in still having Lestat in his life. How does that change things for Armand in that moment? Do y'all remember this was after he gave Louis the blood, right? And so he's talking to him, and then he asked that question, and then Louis doesn't respond. How does that change things for Armand? Let's go with Brittany. We haven't heard you in a while.
Okay, so I feel like Armand is honestly upset, even more upset, and kind of disappointed because he's like, I've been with you this whole time. I've been loving on you. I've been sitting here supporting you. I've been here for you. And you gonna sit here and still want to know what's going on with Lestat and hear from him? And then Louis is like, that's my maker. You mad at me, but that's my maker. It's not a love thing. It's my maker.
Okay. All right. Hell yeah.
I think Armand asked that question full well knowing the answer. And you can read him. You can absolutely read him. I just want to see in this moment, as you are char grilled and within an inch of your life, if you still gonna sit here and lie in my face. That's what I
did. And he
Like I
did.
said, read your
Looking
mind.
like a toasted weenie.
H-Town Fifi, your thoughts?
I think that, you know how, I think that Armand is on something. I think that he said that to get Louis to kind of admit, like, you still want Lestat at some point to know that he's still consuming your entire mind. It's just like, you know how you post a meme or something on Instagram and it's meant for one person to like, you want that one person to know you're talking about them, even though you don't at them or anything like that. And they're just supposed to know that you're talking about them because you want them to be like, so why are you talking about me or whatever? I think that's how it is. Because even Louis even said, yeah, but all I did was talk bad about him. But Armand is like,
But you talk.
you're talking about him. Like every part of everything you're saying is about him.
I
It's
bet
like
we
he's
still
those
talking about you, you ain't talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me.
You've been with this man 100 years and you still ain't talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, I'm boring.
Because you love me. You ain't obsessed with me. I want somebody to be obsessed with me. Why you not obsessed
With
with me?
him.
So, Corey, I want you to answer this comment. Y'all, we got some comments coming. I want Corey to address this one. I believe the book is his "Come to Me" song. Like in the first season, Lestat made a song and put the girl's voice on it that made him swim the Mississippi. He is trying to get a rise by saying all that. What are your thoughts about that?
I kind of agree with that. I do. I kind of think that the whole reason why he wants this story to be told and story to be put out there is a way for him to say, I still want you. I still think about you, or time has separated us, distance has separated us, but I'm still looking for you. I really do believe that. I really do think that the book is an underlying motive. Yes, he wants to tell the story, but I also think that he wants to reconnect with Lestat, because obviously at this point in the story, they both know that Lestat is still alive, right? And at some point in time, they have to connect again. And we know from the books that, you know, eventually Louis and Armand are not going to, were they? Really? Yeah.
I feel like that is true. I agree. And I feel like that is why Armand wants to dribble his ass from San Francisco all the way back to Paris, where he met the punk ass. So you sub tweeting a man on me? Without permission too. He didn't even know he was gonna do all that. So you sub tweeting a man in a whole novel about your contempt for him. I will bounce you from here and the writer from here all the way back to Paris and drown you all along the way. Keep playing with me. I'm telling you, Armand had a keep playing with me moment. Whole episode 5. You gonna keep playing with me, and you gonna find out who you playing with, and I'm gonna kill everybody up in this goddamn country.
Is it
crazy?
Is it just me, or did it seem like his eyes were even redder this episode?
Yes.
He was mad.
It was insane. That's why I liked it, because I was like, I be getting mad like that too.
All right, I've got more questions. There are more comments. I want to get to the comments and I want to get to the questions. All right, so I want to go to H. John Fifi. He was my maker. There's this is Louis saying this. He was my maker. There's nothing more. What just happened here? All right, so I want you to go back into the episode. So when Louis is telling Armand, he's my maker. There's nothing more. What happened?
I do remember him saying that. Wait, go ahead.
What is being communicated?
I think he's saying he's my maker. I'm always going to remember him. Like we're always going to have that connection because he's my maker.
Lestat's talking to Armand in his mind.
Right during the time, like right after he stopped talking to Lestat. This is what's happening, because he put his hand on Armand as if to say, "Hey, I'm here. I love you. It's not about Lestat. It's about you."
But that's not true.
Game.
It's not.
All right, so let's go to Mina Ruth. Oh, I'm sorry. What you got?
I feel like he asked him a good question in that moment. Like, am I going to have to live 100 years on suicide watch? Because, like, basically letting him know, I'm not about to play with you.
It could be homicide instead.
I had to run outside, although I can withstand the sun at this old age, at my big age, I can handle it. But I had to go take you out of the sun from being charred burled. And like, do I got to watch you 24/7 because you want to die behind some man that dropped you from 1,000 feet in the sky, hundreds of thousands, and let you fall to like jelly onto the ground? I got to do that because I could leave you here with Dane. Drain you dry. You and that pump.
All right, let's go to Mina. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to Mina Ruth. When Lestat officially comes back into the picture, he and Armand are going to be fighting over Louis. Is that a thought or is that like fact? Because I haven't read that far.
I feel like
I think it's a thought.
I think it's a thought because I don't believe that in the books it's a little different, and I don't feel like Louis and Armand were together in the books. I really don't.
So
maybe.
I'm certain your Valentine was responding to something that we said. He was yelling directly at the recorder. Animal Overlord says, I think Dubai is some sort of prison for Louis, keeping Louis safe and away from Lestat. What are your thoughts about that, H-Town Fifi?
Let's see. I think Dubai is some sort of prison for Louis, keeping Louis safe. I think it is. Because this is my thing. If Armand can communicate with Lestat, that means Lestat has potentially tried to reach out to Louis at some point. And so this is a way for Armand to keep him away from him.
I'm sorry. I don't think so.
I'm not gonna say nothing. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Brittany, then we're gonna go to Erica. We're gonna go to Brittany, then we're gonna go to Erica. Brittany, what you got?
I don't think it's a prison for him. I think it's more or less an escape from their reality. Like, he's not in the mainstream world. He's in Dubai, away from everything. But I don't think it's a prison necessarily for him. I think that's his like sanctuary.
Barrettman?
I don't think that it's a prison or anything like that. I think that I think it's a comfort place for Armand. Armand is from Delhi. Delhi is in India. More people that look like Armand live in India. I think that's the only purpose, to be honest with you. But I don't think that Louis is in a prison, because he asked them straight up, are you asking me, when he spared Daniel, are you asking me as Mesa? And he said, I'm asking a room. No, I'm telling a room. Because I think that when Armand is in a relationship with somebody, he's giving them choices. Giving them, it's up to you to be with me. He said, I'm telling, he was like, you asking me as Mesa? And he was like, no, I'm telling her a room.
When you say choice, do you mean forced choice? Because
no, forced choice. I think it's one of those situations, like, we all know I can end us off. And I'll still be alive. Honestly, not us. I can end you all, and I'll still be alive. But I'm in love with you. I'm all powerful. Hold on, I think you guys. I don't think that Louis is being kept safe. I think Louis asked to forget because he didn't want to remember all the horrible things that he said to Armand. I think that Armand in that moment could have ended Daniel's life, and when he didn't, and he gave Louis a choice, like, if you asking me as your leader. Yeah. And what did Louis say? I'm telling you as your lover. And so he was like, cool, whatever. He let the dude live, because he sees the importance in him, but not like the same way, that Louis did. But if you value his little punk ass so much, I let him live, whatever. Like, if it'll prove my loyalty to you in this relationship, yeah. I think that we just sometimes forget. It don't matter. And this is me being human in this moment and casting human qualities on like fictional things, but I think that sometimes we forget, like, when you deeply in love with somebody and you got more than them, you're more than them. In every sense of the word, Armand is more, has more, provides more, can do more than Louis. You know what I'm saying? Even he can do more than even Lestat. He's with one of the most powerful vampires in the whole stratosphere.
Well, I don't think Armand is that powerful, but
he's giving him a choice in this situation, the same way Lestat gave him a choice to become a vampire now, and Louis still regretted it.
So I disagree with you, but let's we got some other comments we got to get to. So your Valentine says the book goes back and forth at some points. They end up in a throuple. They just playing games for century. Your Valentine also says, I agree, animal overlords, but I think it goes back to Armand saying, am I going to be on suicide watch for 1,000 years because Armand controls the windows in Dubai? Also, Mina Ruth says, it's my thoughts. I'm not quite certain what you're talking about. It's been a minute. Your Valentine says Louis and Armand are together for some time in the books, but after Claudia, Louis couldn't handle being with him, so they separate. Natasha also says, Louis is the reason I was so frustrated with the first book. The whole woe is me gets old after a while. He should not have been made a vampire. Onyx Crown says, do y'all think Lestat would show up in Dubai? There was something in one of the latest trailers that reminded me of him. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to spill this tea. Yes, Lestat knew that Louis was alive, but he decided that he wanted to allow Louis to live his life. That's what would happen. All right. So also your Valentine. I do agree that Armand does not. I didn't click show. I do agree that Armand does not deny Louis a lot of things. He gets his way pretty often. Armand really could just kill Daniel and wipe Louis. Mina Ruth also says, I was talking about Lestat and Armand fighting over Louis. Let's go to Brittany. Brittany, we haven't heard you in a minute. I have this question for you. So at the end of the episode, the end of one part of the episode, why did Louis save Daniel's life?
I think I remember that part when Armand was biting on Daniel and Louis came out of the coffin and was shaking and walking and wobbly, and he was just like, stop. No, at some point I'm going to need him. Something like that he said. At some point he's going to be important. Is that correct? Was that right, y'all?
So Louis, so basically he was asked, why do you want to save him? And Louis was just like, as a testament to our relationship. That's what he said. But is that how he really felt?
I don't think that's how he really felt. I think that he just wanted to save a human's life. I don't think he had anything really invested into Daniel enough to bond with him to say that this person is important to me. I think it's just a human that he wanted to save.
Corey, your thoughts?
I think that I agree, but I disagree, because I do think that the sheer way that whole situation went down, and there was something about Daniel that Louis liked, right? So for that moment, for that reason alone, I think he wanted to save him, because he's the one who brought him there, right? It was Louis that really brought Daniel into the mix of the whole situation. So I think he was trying not to cause another human to suffer or whatever that he actually liked. He didn't care, because many times they've done this and whatever happened to the person, right? But it was something different about Daniel, and I think he was kind of trying to protect Daniel in that moment, because there was something about Daniel that he did like, right?
Your thoughts, Elia?
It's not that deep for me. It's more surface level. Like, Louis just like toxic shit. So even though Daniel is not a vampire, he is still toxic in his very own way. So that's attractive to Louis. I want him around. I like him.
He saw himself in Daniel.
Daniel's a fuckboy. I like him.
Sign me up.
Hey, sound Fifi?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's some very toxic parts of Daniel. And I think that Louis just likes that for whatever reason. I don't think that he was just like, oh my God, he's the best person ever, let's just save him. There was one thing that he said, whenever he was mad at Armand, he said, the few hours I spent with him have been the most exciting than the last decades I've spent with you. So it's something about Daniel that intrigues him, that enough to make him say, I want you to kill him.
All right. So for the most part, we're done with the comments. I'm done with my questions. This is what I want you all to do. I want you all to talk about whatever it is that we have not covered that you would love to talk about, right? We still have some people with us, so go.
I think that he was gripping onto power. If you're with a powerful person who can do anything, control, he 1,000 years old, bro. Like, maybe at the time he was 900 and some change. But like, he old as hell. He can do anything he wants, but he chooses not to. All this time, he could have wiped your mind clean of lestat. He still gives you free will. He wants you to want him on your own, because that's what the real shit is. And I think that the whole time, all he's waiting on is for Louis to choose him.
But Louis not going to choose him.
No, I think that he wants him to. And in the same instance, it's like him begging for the guy's life, him begging him not to talk to Lestat. Oh, where'd he go? I'm gonna keep going. Him just begging in general. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to take control unless he has to or he's asked to.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I do, because he has shown that he is willing to do whatever in order to get what he wants.
Honestly, I think Armand could have whoever he wants. He just wants Louis. But he wants Louis to choose him.
I don't think Louis would choose him wholeheartedly. He's never going to choose anybody wholeheartedly because there's a piece of unresolved business between he and Lestat. And so until that business is resolved, I do not think that he can make a choice.
And I don't think that Armand accepts that.
Right.
Still leaving room for choice. That's why I truly believe that he chose. I think that even though Louis doesn't remember, he chose to forget that. Because all of this, all up until that moment before he lost his memory, he let him have it all. He let him have everything.
So what you gonna do when it comes out that he did not know that he was?
I ain't gonna do shit. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna still love him. I'm gonna be like, oh, bitch, hey.
I have a question though.
That's who I am.
Is Armand allowing Louis to give this interview just like what is the purpose?
I don't think he knew the first interview was an interview.
Okay.
I think he knew the second interview was an interview and he allowed it because it was a wrap up. I don't think he knew when he left that he was going to do all that talking to Daniel because he didn't know that Daniel had stuff put on his computer. I don't think he knew that Daniel talked to the telemat. I think I'm saying it, Talamasca. I think that back then, though, he was giving Louis choices. And because he wanted to be chosen because he's abandonment issues. I think he wanted to be chosen. But like now, he just serving what he thinks that's what we was doing. I'd go hard to the end too if that's what we said it was going to be. And I didn't know that somebody revealed everything that was going on and was going to blow our stuff up because like the whole time he could have been wiped Louis' mind clean, bro. He could have took Armand out the equation. I mean, not Armand. Armand could have took lestat out the equation a long time ago. He never did. He's so powerful. It's because he just was allowing this. He was allowing a lot of it. In my heart, I truly believe that he gave all these choices. He's given all these choices, and it's blowing up in his face.
That's real.
Anyone else?
I will say 5 has been my favorite episode though.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like a crescendo. 3, 4, 5. Oh my God.
It got better and better and better.
I really like how at the end they came together, Daniel and Louis, and looked at Armand like, "Oh, hey, bitch." So we know what you did.
You see how he looked at Louis when he said, "No, I'm telling you." He said, "No, Arun, I'm telling you, let him live." And he was like, because he was like, "You asking me as matron?" And he was like, "Arun, I'm telling you." And he was like, "All right, bro. So you're gonna pull that card. You're gonna pull that card. You're gonna pull that card. Whatever." Like, all right. I'm gonna let you have that. And that at least that's how I interpreted it. I don't know if that's what it really was, but I'm internalizing it that way.
I'm curious to see what happens next with the relationship between Daniel and Louis. Coming.
He was gonna act grand ass. He never said nothing, no matter what goddamn you did say. Now you need to start from the beginning, baby.
All right. Oh, I didn't realize I posted that. Naya, right now, all we've recapped both episodes. All we're doing is just we're talking about whatever it is that we might have, missed. And so, if there's something that you want us to talk about in the comments, let us know. Elia, you said no, you didn't have anything. I don't know, Brittany, did you say you had anything?
Oh no, I was just talking about the ending part when they came together and confronted Armand. That was it.
All right.
I do have a comment, not a question. I do not love how the episodes end. I do not love it.
They just end out of nowhere.
Don't care for that, but the episodes have been good. I will say that it's still not doing the Mayfair thing, so I'm fine with it. But the way that they're closing out these episodes, it's not even like, oh, cliffhanger, I'm excited. It's just like abrupt.
Like, see y'all next week.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that, but I just had to get that out. I don't love that.
All right, y'all. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. We've had fun. Thank you all so very much. Let me get this together. All right.